But one of the questions I have is, let's first, I don't need an answer on this, I'm just going to make a statement first. Or ask a question first. Has anyone ever studied, I've heard about people carpooling. But the problem is that assumes there's a lot of people working in the same location. Okay, now let's assume that I lived in Statesville or someplace north, or I was a pilot trying to get into Charlotte in the morning to fly you out someplace. And I have a decision whether or not to get onto the regular road or to get on the express lane. And then I come to the end of it and it's all backed up. And I can't even be going 45 miles an hour because everybody's trying to exit into a lane that's not even moving. How do I get there? So my question is, has there ever been a study to determine how many people enter or exit Charlotte that are single passengers that don't have a chance to go to a multi-person office? There's a lot of salespeople, there's pilots, there's myself. I go up to Statesville maybe once a week. And what will I face? Well, not much, because it's going to be fairly open in the morning. But when coming back at night, it'll be fairly open. But what about the people going the other directions? And can somebody answer if there's ever been a study to determine what percentage of the cars on the road? Keep in mind that a truck takes up the space of 4 or 5 cars. So if you have trouble getting into that lane, into the express lane, the trucks and the regular cars, people trying to get there, are going to be blocking up that lane. So anyway, my question is, has anybody ever done a study on this to determine this?
I haven't. Let me make up a couple of quick things, because you guys have been very patient, and I'm, again, more for you things to consider as you go forward. Scott was right. Scott said a little parsing here. If you build the lanes, they will fill up. But apparently we're going to build one because we need it, which I agree with, by the way. In 1990, NCDOT said their long-term plan was 8 lanes of traffic, general purpose lanes from I-40 to South Carolina. That was planning ahead. In 1990, very intelligent people went, there are probably going to be people who are going to move to the Lake Norman area. So by 2010, we should have 8 lanes from I-40 to South Carolina. We have none. They were right. 533% more people showed up. And we haven't built any of that capacity. So when you say if you build it, it just fills up. Yeah, if you don't build it, it really fills up. And so that is the other issue of this. That's a bit of a, if the philosophy works, then I'll be honest with you, I don't know why they widened 485 without toll lanes. And I got to tell you, from the people in North Mecklenburg, we really don't understand why they widened 485 before they finished 485 in the north. So we're feeling a little dumped on. So Mayor, you might love us, but, and you've only been mayor for a month, so it isn't your fault, but the city of Charlotte kind of works there. The carpool thing and the bus thing works if you're all going to the same place. So if you're going to an 8-block square in downtown Charlotte, where much of the Charlotte Chamber's interests lie, this works for you. Therein lies the problem. This plan works for people who live and work, or who work in a congested area in the center of Charlotte. If you work outside that little core, not so much. If you're like me, who lives in Huntersville and works in Pineville, or another town commissioner, Rob Kidwell of Huntersville, who works in Pineville, it doesn't work quite so much. We could carpool, except we're on different schedules. So, that's it. The truth is, the public deserves a certain level of infrastructure. You pay for it, you expect it. We have long-term plans with that in mind. The people of Huntersville, Cornelius, and Davidson listened to NCDOT, who said we will build infrastructure such that you'll have 8 lanes to South Carolina. That's a good place to build a Burkeville. That's a good place to build some development. That's a good place to put a business. If you just said, we're going to put infrastructure in sufficient for 533% growth, not so much, we're going to leave it the same, they would not be there. If you want to, for example, build a toll road that bypassed Huntersville, Cornelius, Davidson, and Lake Norman, I'd be all for it. Because that wouldn't work. If you want to build an outer loop beyond 485, so that you aren't having to deal with the congestion of the people who moved here and work here, that's not a bad idea. If you're smart like Mark Sanford and you build an 8-lane road to Charlotte where there's nobody, you end up with a Fort Mill. But we are trying to catch up. And the problem is we have decided that we're going to self-fund that rather than demand it of the state. And at some point you have to say, no, I demand the state to give me the infrastructure I pay for. And that's our job, and Jennifer's job, and Bill's job, and Ed's job, is to make that demand however we can. And so that's the problem I have. We talk about the toll road in Raleigh. My daughter lives in Raleigh. That is not Highway 1. That is their second outer loop. That's their second 485. That's an optional toll. I'm all for that. If you want to build me another 485, a 585 that is a toll lane around it, knowing it's going to be a toll lane when you build it, I have no problem with that. Legal, fair, consistent. I talk about it all the time. Arthur Griffin, somebody Bill and I battled for years, but it's the best advice I ever got. When you have a tough decision, 3 questions. Is it legal? Is it fair? Is it consistent? Toll lanes are legal. Are they fair? Absolutely not. Is this one consistent? Mecklenburg County will pay tolls when the rest of the state doesn't. It fails on at least 2 counts. And I think that's one of the things we have to demand of the people who represent us.
Let me just say.
You can clap. Don't worry.
And I think at this point, as your humble moderator, there is no easy answer tonight, and there won't be any easy answer tomorrow. But there is one. And I'll turn it over to you, Rob. Open our lane. Get the citizen involved. Make the leaders respond to us. That's why we started SMART. I'm not against any leader or official or anything else. But I'll be darned. When they try to cram something down my throat without getting my opinion and taking care of us, and this is what we're hearing up here. And the warning from Jim Puckett is South Charlotte, wake up. Back to you, Rob, and I want to thank all 3 of you for, and by the way, the donation things back there, we do need a couple bucks to help us out tonight. Rob, you can close it out.
Well, thank you, Tim, and thank you, Smart, for hosting this and partnering with Open Our Lane. The only thing I wanted to say is we didn't spend a lot of time talking also about the I-77 North project, which obviously is the most pressing and the most concerning at this point in time. Just remember, for the South Side, this is our ability to be warned. This is our ability to start now and to raise awareness now. And again, on the 20th is the CRTPO vote. Yes, 46% is already issued in. But if 14 or more members of that committee vote no, then that will say that the majority of the members voted no. And if that's the case, then our representatives, Charlie Jeter has said he may do something. Jeff Tart may do something. There was a Mecklenburg delegation of about, I think, 7 or 8 representatives and senators who asked City Council to cancel the contract. If they see that the CRTPO by number votes no, that's telling. So we had 45 people come speak to City Council. I'd love it if we had 45 people coming to see CRTPO, even though I do want to get home that night. I think that would be great. So again, thank you everybody for coming today, and Smart, thank you for hosting this event.
Smart would like to thank Rob Watson from Open Our Lane, Scott Cole from the North Carolina Department of Transportation, Mecklenburg County Commissioner Jim Puckett representing District 1, Raintree Country Club for providing the facilities, and all SMART advocates and concerned citizens who attended the meeting. For more information about the South Mecklenburg Alliance of Responsible Taxpayers, visit our website at www.smartmech.org and visit our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/12.smart.